Dude, like I'm literally shaking though from telling this story. Also, I think it's so embarrassing to tell you guys this. I would say there's maybe 5 people that know the story. My mom doesn't even know the story, and I'm telling the world. What's I think it's gonna surprise you guys to know that about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I got scammed on a Ferrari. It's crazy. I guess we'll just start from the beginning. So November 2016, my friend John hooks me up with his friend. His name is Jose Alfredo Salcido. Local guy right here in Chino Hills. Hits me up on a Saturday. We meet up at my office. We talk for hours on end. Super cool guy, in my opinion. Genuine in every manner. And he tells me about he's opening up a shoe store. He loves my marketing efforts. He loves my background. He goes, listen, I'm opening up a shoe store. Help me with my marketing and branding, and I'll help you get a Ferrari. Mind you, I was not looking at Ferraris necessarily at that moment. The thought crossed my mind every now and then, but like maybe like a lower end one. But he dangled something in front of me that I really liked. So a couple days later, he hits me back up and he goes, hey, I think I found a car that's just up your alley. The dealer's trying to get rid of it. Would you like to do a credit check? I was like, sure, why not? Let's try it out. Runs my credit, shows me the approvals, credit of the credit unions. Maybe I should have known right there and then it was a little bit off because I got like a 1.5% interest rate. Shows me all the paperwork, shows me the paperwork from the dealership. Everything looks great. He tells me, hey, we'll sign contracts, we'll do DMV paperwork, the whole 9 yards. As legit as it gets. So, in my opinion, I thought the guy was cool because, I mean, heck, we talked for a while. I met his family, for God's sake, right? Like, I met his wife, I met his kids. He had a beautiful McLaren. This is the perfect picture, in my opinion. So I trusted him. We signed contracts, DMV paperwork. I gave him a check. Not cash, by the way. I gave him a check for $35,000. And after I gave him the check, we stay in contact. 2 days later, he hits me up, letting me know we're on track. 5 days later, a week later, lets me know everything's good. He shows me a wire transfer to the dealership for the amount, for the value of the car. So I'm thinking, we're all set now. The dealership even takes the car off the market. In my mind, I'm already telling 3 or 4 or 5 of my friends I have a Ferrari at the age of 25. About a week later, I go, hey, how's the transport looking? What's going on? Lets me know this is holiday time. This is November, right? So Thanksgiving time, whatnot. Tells me, hey, there's some delays due to holiday. It makes sense. Mind you, he's communicating with me almost every other day. He's like my friend at this point, telling me about how he's a godly man. He tells me about his life, his background. Like I mentioned, I met the guy's kids. 2 weeks later pass again, and I'm starting to sense a little bit of suspicion on my end. Another week later, mind you, he's still picking up my phone calls. I'm getting really suspicious at this point. So I call the dealership. Hey guys, what's going on? Sales rep goes, let me call the owner. Let me call you right back, buddy. Owner calls me. This is from Chicago Motor Cars, by the way, in Illinois. Calls me and says, hey man, that wire transfer never came in. We have the screenshot of it. We have the paperwork, but it was forged. So obviously at that point, my whole world's crashing. So what ends up happening after that is I confront him. He denies the whole thing, says he would never screw anyone over. So now I'm in aggressive mode at this point, right? From defense to full offense. I have luckily a really good friend of mine who runs a background check on him. Turns out this guy has like 17 judgments against him, all in default. Default meaning that he never shows up to court. $1.5 million or so. And on top of that, he has no assets, meaning he has nothing in his name or his wife's name. So at this point, what do, right? I can't go after him legally. I could go the violent way, but what's that really going to do for me, you know? And I mean, don't get me wrong, I thought about it for a pretty long period of time. You know what the sick thing is, by the way, though, of all this? While I'm going through the whole, like, looking at the police, looking at the reports, doing weighing all my options, the guy's still trying to call me to pretend like he's my friend. Like, what a psychopath at that point, man. So, like I mentioned, if I go after him, I'm number 18 in line. I'm not going to get paid. So, naturally, I got depressed. I would say from December to March. The sad part is, you guys, the $35,000 wasn't why I'm depressed at this point. Like, $35,000, it's money. And it's a lot of money, I get it, but it's not why. I think I was most mad because I feel like I let it happen to myself. You know, like, I'm the one that signed the paperwork. I'm the one that gave him the check. It was me. And accidents happen. But this was no accident, in my opinion. This was me. This was me being dumb. For someone who, in my opinion, is valued in my group of friends, who's looked upon as a smarter person, I made the dumbest decision of all. And that's, I think, what really gets me to this day, is that I let it happen. So as I mentioned, I had no options. I fell into depression. I probably lost like 25 pounds. Not only that, but I started, my mentality wasn't on the right set. I messed up on 2 major jobs. I lost the trust and the business of 2 of my major clients due to my mindset just being completely messed up. I also pulled out of Apple stock to make sure I had enough capital for my business to keep running. The Apple stock is now valued at almost $50,000. If you look at the liabilities and everything, it's about $100,000 total that I lost. And again, the money wasn't the sad part, right? It's the fact that I let it happen. And so the good news is I don't know what happened. It's the stupidest thing in the world. You guys are going to laugh at this. In March, or was it April, more or less, what got me to get back on my feet was I walked into the barbershop next to my office, and one of the barbers was like, "Hey, Seth, what's up?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm so depressed, whatnot." He goes, "So what, are you just going to be a little B word for the rest of your life and just be a nobody?" And it triggered me so much. But the guy was right, you know? Like, I'm complaining, and I'm sad, and I was saying the same story over like a broken record. And I got so angry at first at him, right? And I walked out. And then it was like a day later, I was like, damn, this guy's right, though. Like, who cares? I mean, I care, don't get me wrong, but like, who cares at the same time? Like, am I gonna let it affect the rest of my life? So I will say from April to December of 2017, November of 2017, I worked the most I ever had in my entire life. And I literally 3x'd my company in that short period of time. I was working 16 to 18 hours regularly. And I made the most money in that 7 to 8 month period of time than I had in the last 3 years cumulative. And the reality of, the reality I get, what's weird is this. Remember this, mind you guys, I was looking at Ferraris before this guy came up to me. And although that he screwed me over and the money was gone, the idea of me getting a Ferrari was not. And so right around November 2017, it started becoming a reality. I wanted one. Like, I still wanted one. So what did I end up doing is I bought a cash. Straight out. What happened to a $35,000 deposit on a Ferrari became an all-owned car off the bat. And you know what's crazy is, as much as I hate this guy, as much as I loathe him and he does evil upon others, I gotta thank him. I gotta thank him because, like, without him, the idea of me ever getting this kind of a car, at least in the near future, wasn't existent. It's almost like he incepted my mind, like that movie Inception. He brought the idea of me having one. And through my sheer will, I got it. So, like, man, moral of the story, man, is, I know it's so cliche, but you can do whatever you want if you put your mind to it. Right? And I think another thing that I learned from this was, I think when you're pushed to a corner, to an extreme corner, you can do great or terrible things. Right? As I mentioned, I could have gone the violent option and tried to do something really stupid probably. But I chose, God willing, to go the amazing option, which was work harder, work smarter, and make more money. And money was just the after effect. The mindset and the ethics and everything I learned from it was the best. That's my learning lesson, man. And hopefully I never go through that again, but I'm looking forward to the next lesson I learn. Hope you guys enjoyed the story.